Good day and welcome. Today in our lesson of social studies, we are going to learn about behavioral public laws, knowing what is right, where it is right, and when we are supposed to behave that way. This is done for middle school, and the goal is to understand and identify appropriate behaviors in public spaces. So, what is public behavior? Public behavior is understanding how we should behave and handle our bodies while we're in public spaces. Public spaces like the library, like schools, parks, streets, shops. Everywhere there's a specific rule that you need to follow and how to handle yourself so as to respect your rights as well as the people's rights around you. These are public behavior laws are rules about how we should act in these specific places where everybody feels safe, comfortable, and respected. For example, in a library people are there to learn and to do research, so they need quiet. That is why in a library we have a rule that says, quiet please. We're not allowed to talk, not allowed to play music, not allowed to run around in this area because it needs to be quiet and controlled in order for other people to be able to concentrate. Let's examine some situations together. Let's see if this behavior is public or private. Remember, private, you can run around at home, you can play in your yard, you can yell and scream as much as you are allowed to. Those are all private behaviors. But in public spaces, we need to respect other people's rights as well. Okay, so situation 1. Singing loudly at the top of your lungs in the middle of a busy street. Is this public or private behavior? It's private behavior, so you're allowed to sing loudly, make loud noises at home, but not in a public street, not where everybody else is. That is called noise pollution. Let's look at situation 2. Waiting patiently in line at a shop. If we wait patiently in line at a shop, is this public or private behavior? This is public. You're controlling your body, you're being quiet, you're respecting other people's boundaries. You are doing public behavior. Think about these public places carefully. The classroom, the mall, the playground. For each location, write down one example of good public behavior and one example of behavior that is not acceptable in those public places. Remember your class rules. What should we do in the class and what should we not do in the class? The same for the mall and the playground. So we need to identify a public place. Write this down in your book and hand this in to your teacher. Identify a public place. Write down one example of a public place where people gather. Describe the good behavior. Write one example of appropriate, respectful behavior in that public place. What do you think would be appropriate to be in that public place if you're walking in a mall? Is it nice to run around, to bump against people, to not look where you're going, to scream and yell at the top of your lungs? Or is it better to be with your mom and your dad, to control your body, to make sure that you get through this as quick as possible, and to be as quiet as possible? So describe one good behavior and identify an inappropriate behavior. So write down these things and give them to your teacher so she can see if you understand it or not. So why are these laws important? These laws keep everyone safe. Public behavior laws help protect people from harm and dangerous situations in shared spaces. It shows that we respect others. These laws help us respect each other's personal space, feelings, and comfort levels. We also build better communities. By following these laws, we show our neighbors that we care for them, and we also care for where they work. These are all our rights and responsibilities that we need to do in public spaces. So, common public behavior laws. What should we do? In public, which is not your home, which is where a lot of people are. Public spaces is a lot of people. Public spaces is where everybody can go freely. Those are all public spaces. These are the rules that we need to follow. We need to be quiet. We need to lower our voice in places like libraries, during school assemblies, or in a movie theater. We need to wait our turn. Stand in a line, wait patiently for your turn at shops, bus stops, and other public areas. We need to keep our public spaces clean. Do not throw away your litter on the ground. There are bins for a reason. Respect personal space. Do not touch others without permission. Maintain appropriate distance in public spaces. Do not go too close to the person in front of you when standing in a line. Remember, we need to be at arm's length away from each other. And we also need to be polite. Say thank you, say please, especially when you're interacting with someone that is doing their job. Now, what happens if we don't follow these rules? Now, others might get upset or annoyed if you are being inappropriate. You could be asked to leave this place temporarily or permanently, which means you never come back. For serious violations, like when you're damaging something or when you're doing it consecutively and numerous times, more than once, there might be legal consequences or fines. They might call the police because you are disturbing their customers. The goal is always to be considerate and respectful of others. Remember, following public behavior laws shows that you are mature and that you respect your community. Respecting public places means that we are respecting each other. Can you see? No one is in each other's spaces. Everybody's doing their own thing. No one's bothering anybody else. So that's very important. Now, let's recap. You have now learned to understand public behavior laws and why they matter in our community. Remember to think when you are in the public how your actions will affect the people around you. That is being a good citizen. And continue demonstrating good public behavior every day in public spaces. That's it for today. Thank you and goodbye.